Hi, my name is Jeff, and I'll be doing the CADLink demonstration for Sage X3 today. With CADLink, you'll be able to automate the bill of materials data transfer between CAD systems like SOLIDWORKS to Sage X3. In order to begin using CADLink, all you need to do is to have your CAD model open, like I do. Once the bill of materials information is loaded into this model, things like part numbers, descriptions, revisions, then you'll be able to bring this data into Sage. I do this by clicking on the tools and accessing our built-in application. This is because of our level of partnership with SOLIDWORKS in that we get to build our software directly into their system. By clicking on this, CADLink first launches a login screen for me to access my Sage credentials. Once I log in, I will be making changes under that credential. What it's doing right now is that it's running a comparison of the bill of materials found on the SOLIDWORKS model against any BOM records inside of Sage, whether it's existing or not existing. So it's taking part numbers, descriptions, revisions, quantities, and comparing it and it will show you what will be the same, what is different, and what CADLink is going to change on this grid. The different colors of highlighting represent different things that are going to happen to each one of these items. So first we have the white line items. These are items that CADLink found in both my SOLIDWORKS assembly and inside of my Sage item master. So maybe someone has created this part already in Sage a long time back and we use it quite frequently. For whatever reason, it already exists there and CADLink found it in both SOLIDWORKS and Sage. Now these green line items, these are items that CADLink found on the SOLIDWORKS bill of materials, but not in the Sage item master. So what it's going to do when CADLink saves is that CADLink is going to create each one of these green line items in the Sage item master, fill it out with all the data coming directly from SOLIDWORKS, so things like the part number, the description, and add it to the BOM record inside of Sage for me with the quantity coming directly from my SOLIDWORKS bill of materials. So you can imagine for a bill of materials this big, with about 10, 15, maybe 20 new parts here, how long it would take you to do manually. CADLink accomplishes this, creating all the items and creating all the parent-child relationships in the Sage in a matter of seconds. Next, we have the yellow fields. And yellow fields represent field level discrepancies. So when CADLink was comparing, let's say, this description, for example, it noticed that the data coming from the CAD side, when compared to the data coming from the ERP side, did not match. I can right-click on this, and I can see what the data is coming from both sides. It looks like on the SOLIDWORKS side, it's missing the word test at the end, and the ERP side has it. So whether it be a typo or a difference in the way that the description was typed, the discrepancy exists. And you can select between these two fields for the one you'd like to keep. Whichever one you end up leaving on this field here, that is the one that CADLink takes and will be able to either update the SOLIDWORKS model properties or update the Sage item master with this description. So maybe I can select this. Maybe this is the one that better matches the company's standard. CADLink will now push this into Sage and update the description side of Sage to be this. On top of that, I can write a brand new description. And now this description will be updated bidirectionally in both my SOLIDWORKS bill of materials as well as inside of Sage. So that's to say that's not just a one-way data push. CADLink pushes data bidirectionally to both SOLIDWORKS and Sage. Lastly, we have the gray line items. These are items that CADLink found on the Sage BOM record, but not in the SOLIDWORKS bill of materials. Commonly, these would be items that people might remove from the SOLIDWORKS bill of materials because either they've been discontinued in use or they were replaced. For whatever reason, the designer took it off the bill of materials on the SOLIDWORKS side. So in order to reflect that change, CADLink will also go into Sage and remove that line item from the Sage BOM record as well, so that the two bill of materials will be in sync. Next, I'll be talking about some of the different columns you see here on this grid. On the very far left, we have an indices for the multi-level BOM structure. And like I mentioned, CADLink will not only create new parts for you, but will also create all these parent-child relationships inside of Sage as well. We have a save column letting you have more control over what CADLink will save when we are committing that process. So if there's certain parts that aren't ready to be brought into Sage yet, I can either deselect them like this, or if there's a certain assembly that has a longer lead time, for example, I can deselect the entire bill of materials and only select that assembly, and CADLink will just push that in, so the data will be available for people downstream in the process. Next, we have some fields here for the item master, things like the part number and the description. We, of course, have the quantity coming from the bill of materials. All three of these fields are coming from my SOLIDWORKS bill of materials. So I've entered the data once inside of SOLIDWORKS, and I don't have to enter that data again because I'm reading it from there. We have the unit of measure and the product category. These are fields that will help us define this item inside of Sage. And all of these are actually drop-down menus. And where this data is coming from is that it's coming directly from Sage. It's a live connection to Sage, so whatever I'm able to select inside of Sage to apply as a unit of measure, I'm also able to select from here as well. And that goes for the same for the product category as well. And on the very far right hand side, I have fields here for raw material information. So whether I store raw material information in my SOLIDWORKS model or not, CADLink has these grids available to facilitate the addition of raw material information into this bill of materials. Next, we have the BOM changes tab. And the BOM changes tab is a read-only summary of all the information that is about to change inside of Sage. So your designers can come in here for an easy validation step to be able to see all this information kind of just like in a different form of what we saw in the BOM grid. So we'll see exactly what each part, how the quantity is being changed, and it'll be more information for your engineers to be able to make smart decisions on what will be changing inside of Sage. With the CAD properties tab, and basically this just allows you to look into the SOLIDWORKS model properties without having to switch back and forth between CADLink and SOLIDWORKS. So you can come in here and look at this configuration specific property or this custom property here. And if you are looking at getting an integration to Sage that isn't SOLIDWORKS, this screen, of course, will still apply to whether you're using Inventor or other CAD systems as well. And lastly, we have the CADLink messages tab. And the reason for these messages is to make sure that the data you're bringing into Sage is correct. So in this example here, what we're seeing is that it's telling me that a description on the bill of materials is currently empty. And in Sage, we cannot have a bill of materials, or rather an item, that has an empty description. So until this message is resolved, I actually cannot hit the save button here. So going back to the BOM grid, I can figure out where this empty description is. So this description here is empty, and I need to fill it with information before I'm able to commit to the save process. If there were multiple ones of these, I can double click on this and it'll actually jump to the line item. So now that I'm here, I can fill this with some information. And after this is complete and there's no more CADLink messages, then the save button is enabled, and then I'll be able to press it and bring this information, this bill of materials, into Sage. Once again, this is a validation step to make sure that the information is complete or abides by Sage rules. There are other examples of this. For example, if we had a quantity of 0 on the bill of materials, and all of this is to protect the user and to protect the integrity of the data inside of Sage. Thanks, everyone.